directly to Bob Chapman. Bob, how are you?
Well, fine, thank you. I'm glad to be back this Friday. And I saw you on tape this morning, and I thought you did a terrific job.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Let's just get into the financial news. The Associated Press, Reuters, all the major news agencies are now admitting to a 9.8% unemployment rate. We know the number is actually higher, but for them to admit it's up around 10% is unprecedented. And I've got headlines in front of me. World Bank head acknowledges shifting global order and how they need a new economic world order. These have been headlines all week. And this one's out of Reuters. IMF, World Bank warn global cooperation could falter. Basically, they're saying if people don't cooperate with the cartels, the banksters at the IMF and World Bank, things could get much worse.
Well, it's extortion. It's a threat. They're trying to tell you if you dare touch our Federal Reserve, we'll destroy the economy. And what they don't understand, or they don't want to go there, is that they are the richest people in the world, and they get the most to lose, including their lives, probably. The American people and the people of the world are not dumb to what they're doing. We have all these alternative radio programs such as Alex Jones and many others, and we have some publications that discuss these kind of things. Not many. I wish there were more. And the world knows what they're doing. And what their plan is now, and all this propaganda that you just talked about coming through the UN, the G20, they're doing away with G7 and G8. They're moving toward a world currency, which will be out of the IMF. They're using SDRs, which are special drawing rights now. The Japanese and several others are using them. And they want to phase into a world currency. And if they don't have any backing in gold, it's just not going to work. It's just another fiat currency, just like SDRs are. And so that's where they're headed with this thing. Now, this isn't going to happen tomorrow morning, but it is going to happen over the next 2 to 3 years. If I had to put a time frame into it, I'd say probably a year and a half to 2. And I think that what they're going to look for is when the dollar gets on the USDX, which is an index weighted of 6 other currencies versus a dollar, which is selling at around 77 right now, down from a high of 124. When it gets down to 40 to 50, which I think it will over the next year and a half to 2 years, then I think they'll make their move with the devaluation of all currencies or revaluation of currencies against one another, and also accompanied by a major default by many countries, including the United States, which about 1/3 of the debt will have to be paid off, and the other 2/3 will be done away with. And that's where I think this whole thing is headed, or at least that's the way they want it to head. And that's what I think is in the future.
Well, there's 2 points that I want to hit on a little more extensively that you just talked about. One, the idea that these are the richest people in the world, yet the dumbed-down public believes that Bill Gates is the richest man in the world, followed by Warren Buffett. And certainly those men are powerful and wealthy, but they're really just tools of the real establishment, the real elite. Let's speak to that. And then on top of that, we're talking SDR units and a global currency. When they do announce this global currency outside of SDR units, are we going to see this as a hard physical currency or just a fiat traded currency that we won't see an actual bill or coin for?
Well, knowing them and knowing the status of the nations gold-wise, they've sold most of their gold off, it will be without backing. It will be another fiat currency. Mm-hmm. And I don't think there's any question of that. And it won't work any better than any of the other ones. But I think it's going to be accompanied by a very deep depression. And I think that the turmoil that's going to come from that may upset their plans. And as you saw in Montana, and you reported with Alex on the air, that's the tape I saw this morning, they are already, and they're responsible for this, putting these criminals into the United States. They're nothing but mercenary murderers, and they expect to do that all over the country and then use that against the people.
Absolutely. And how shocking is it that, number one, we have somebody with 17 plus aliases, multiple felony convictions, over $1 million in lawsuits lost and unpaid, an open warrant in Wyoming. And this is the guy that's going to head up the privatized prison system that was first built in 2007? This is insanity.
Well, this is the kind of people that they attract, and because of the criminals work very good with criminals. Now, the people in banking, Wall Street, the power behind all of the Illuminati is the European heads of royal families called the black nobility, and they've been in charge of it probably since the 14th century. And they are the ones who hire these types of people, and once they've done their job, they get rid of them. They eliminate them. And so you're going to find a lot of very, very bad people who are going to be in groups like this, including Blackwater. I mean, they're no lilies of the valley either. And these are the people that the American military are going to have to take out.
Well, I hope it does actually come to that. But when we expend our U.S. military forces overseas in illegal conflicts such as Afghanistan and Iraq, and now we continue to beat the drums against Iran, and now they're ramping up, again, privatized foreign mercenary services in this country, it seems that that's the plan. Let's bring the foreign mercenaries into this country. Let's bring the NATO troops. Let's bring the people that will be more apt to pull guns on the American populace in quarantine situations and emergencies, and let's dispel our U.S. military overseas so they can't defend the Constitution and Bill of Rights.
Well, there's an answer to that, and that is this. There's going to be a certain amount of military in the United States, and it's up to the American citizens to go to the military and say, I'm at your service. I've got my own weapons. I've been trained. You just tell me what unit you want me in and give me a uniform.
Well, I hope that the military really wakes up.
There's 80 million veterans in the United States, Jason. 40 million of them been in combat. There's 450 million weapons in the United States. These people are going to get a total lesson that they'll never forget. It's just like the Japanese were asked after the war, why didn't you invade the United States when you had the opportunity? And they said, well, everybody's got a gun and they ought to shoot it. And so, they figured out, and he said, no, we don't want to tangle with that. Well, the Illuminati wants to tangle with it, and not only is it going to cost the lives of their mercenaries, it's going to cost them their own lives.
Well, the U.S. Supreme Court is set to rule on the Second Amendment coming up. That's making headlines everywhere. What do you expect to see out of that?
I think probably that the people who have guns will be able to keep them.
Well, I hope that we are, and I hope that they don't restrict our firearms any further, but we know what their plan is, and we know they like to encroach on our freedoms incrementally, so we'll be keeping a close eye on that. As the economy continues to falter, as the dollar continues to drop, the last time I checked it against the SDR, or Special Drawing Rights Unit, and for listeners out there that don't believe that there's already world currency, just type in SDR conversion rate into Google, and you'll be able to see the conversion rate of the SDR across the board on all the other currencies out there. The last time I checked, the dollar was somewhere between 60 and 67 cents or 60 or 67 units compared to 1 or 0.67 to 1 SDR. So I would say it's only, it's about 2/3 the value of 1 SDR. Yet we've seen gold shoot up. I believe it's over $1,000 at this point. Silver also doing well. Tell us about that.
Well, yeah, the government, through the Treasury Department, the Working Group in Financial Markets, the Federal Reserve, they have been holding gold down here at about 1,000, but they don't have the physical to depress the market. And so every day they come in and they battle with using derivatives and also on the futures exchange, and they're going to lose. It's only a matter of time before gold moves higher. And where? Anywhere between $1,200 and $1,700 an ounce, and I think that's imminent. I don't think that's far away. And I think if I'm right, let's say it went to 16 or 1700, which is very possible out of the technical formation it's in right now, I would say that there's a chance next year that it could go up to 2,500 to 3,000. That possibility exists. So gold is going to be a dynamite investment, a way of protecting your wealth, probably the only way, gold and silver.
Well, tell people how they can make that investment today, and tell them about your newsletter.
Well, the International Forecast is about business, finance, economic, social, political issues all over the world. And we have 2 issues a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays by email. We have a hard copy that goes out. And you can go to our site. That address is theinternationalforecaster.com, theinternational, FORECASTER.com, or you can call toll free, 877-479-8178. That's 877-479-8178.